Do you have a huge financial interest in a competing solution? Is that part of the reason that you even started looking at this technology and are so critical of it?
Well, no. I mean, a financial interest in a way. I have no.
In this video, I'm going to be reacting to Dan O'Coward self-destructing live on CNBS. For those who don't know, Dan is the guy that nobody had heard of until he recently took out a full-page ad in the New York Times viciously attacking Tesla's full self-driving beta software. The software that has yet to be involved in a single collision but is so dangerous that it should be immediately removed from roads. The guy who absolutely doesn't have a single conflict of interest whatsoever. A guy who, in my opinion, has bitten off far more than he can chew and, well, is getting his just desserts. So sit back, relax, grab some popcorn and enjoy the show as we watch this gigantic douchebag self-immolate live in real time on CNBS. Of course, everything I say in this video is my opinion. I could be completely wrong. I may have made the facts up. Maybe there was no full page ad and maybe Dan O'Coward isn't a gigantic. So please, do your own research and draw your own conclusions. Let's get into this shit show. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks, and get some free stocks and crypto. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. You can get 2 free stocks with WeBull, a free stock with Stake, free Bitcoin with Coinbase, and free Bitcoin with BlockFi, and the BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards credit card. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support.
Dan, it's good to have you this morning. I read that ad. I'm sure many others read it as well. It's alarming, but I just wonder, why are you doing this?
So before we watch Dan O'Coward self-immolate live on television, I want to make sure that everybody watching is paying very close attention to 2 things. 1, does Dan actually answer the questions he is asked or deflect? And 2, does Dan appear to be speaking from the heart or like a politician? Daddy, I'm scared, please hold me. Just pay attention to these things because they may indicate a little bit of deception, dishonesty, discomfort, having bitten off more than one can chew, trying to avoid actually saying the motivation behind this ad, etc. So pay close attention.
Well, the history of...
Because I care so much about you guys, I've taken the liberty of transcribing the first 10 words of Dan O'Coward's response to this straightforward question. Allow me to quote, I've also got these up on screen for those of you watching. Well, the history of. Now, is it just me or is that a little bit of a red flag? If you ask your girlfriend, has she been sleeping with Stephen Mark Ryan? And she answers, well, no. You might have something to worry about.
A very important factor in modern history is this commitment to the internet, connecting everything up to the internet. And every company on the planet, everybody is totally committed to hooking everything up to the internet as quickly as possible. And this has created a really big problem because all this software, I mean, ask anybody, they'll tell you everything can be hacked, all the software can be hacked. But what we're doing is connecting up the things that our lives depend on. The power grid, cars, water treatment plants, hospitals, they're all being connected up to the internet, and it's all that software is very easily hackable. And people can take down vast sections of our critical infrastructure anytime they want. For cars, there are huge problems with cars, in self-driving cars. If you've got a hacker gets control of a self-driving car, which everybody basically says, of course, we all know it can be hacked. With the self-driving car, the problem is all the software is the same. If you look at Tesla, every Tesla runs the same software, and they're all on the internet. If you find out how to hack one of them, you can hack all of them, literally, and take control of 1 million Teslas or 2 million, and then program them to drive into oncoming traffic or go, or down Christmas parades or outdoor cafes or anything you have like that.
I just need to take a break here and just make sure that everybody understands the content of the full page ad versus what this gigantic dickhead is currently discussing. totally unrelated matters. I've got the full page ad on screen now. If you want to pause the video and read through in full, please, I encourage you to do so. Absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with cybersecurity or hacking. This is a direct attack on Tesla's full self-driving beta software, which, for the record, this dickhead forgot to describe accurately as full self-driving beta, the keyword there being beta, aka it's not finished, aka it's not widely available, aka it's not for everyone in the public. It is a beta release. This particular word, which has extremely important context, entirely absent from the New York Times ad, curiously. And now, after being asked directly about what motivated this full page ad in the New York Times, Dan O'Coward eventually, after stuttering his way through his response, begins talking about an entirely unrelated issue, the potential of hacking self-driving cars. Why? That's obviously not what motivated you to take out this particular ad. If it was, you would have been discussing the potential for hacking self-driving vehicles in the ad, right?
So this is a severe problem.
Yeah, that's a scary prospect. But your ad didn't focus on that as much as it focused on what you said was analyzing many hours of YouTube videos and just finding that, at least according to what you saw, the self-driving function on these Teslas commits more than 1,000 times as many critical errors as human drivers. I mean, you weren't focused on hacking as much as you simply are, am I wrong, focused on what you feel is a faulty software program?
So props to David, the anchor there, for calling out this gigantic pile of steaming human excrement. No offense to human excrement, I'm just saying it's probably the best descriptor I've got for this guy that won't get me kicked off YouTube. So let's see if he's A, capable of responding to the question, and B, far more importantly, doing so honestly. I got a funny feeling the answer to both of those questions may be no.
Well, it's the overall mission of the Dawn Project is both security and safety. It's all about safety. In this particular case, the situation is very egregious. The software, it does not work. It continuously tries to drive you into things. Watch the videos. There's hundreds of them. And that was the study. Every 36 minutes we looked at those videos, it tried to run into a wall or into the wrong way on traffic or everything that could happen with your car. And it's just terrible. I mean, I've been doing safety engineering for a very long time. And I've never seen anything. No one's ever put out a product that every 8 minutes it tries to do something dumb.
Now, I don't have a particularly large sample, irony intentional, but of the videos that I've seen of Dan O'Coward, it does seem to me, from this very small sample of videos that I've seen online, it does appear that Dan O'Coward's own parents have produced a product that does something incredibly dumb about every 8 seconds rather than minutes. However, just to clarify, Dan doesn't have a gigantic beta label on his forehead, although he absolutely should. Literally. Tesla's full self-driving beta, on the other hand, does. So I take issue with the fact that Dan O'Coward has suggested that Tesla has put out a product when in fact it's currently in beta. Limited number of users have access, very strict terms of use. Everyone understands they need to be monitoring and ready to take over at any moment because it's beta software and it's not finished.
I put out a reward of $10,000 for someone who could show us a single product that fails that often and does the wrong thing.
You said your report analyzed 22 videos posted on YouTube. I mean, is that enough of a sampling size to really make the claims that you're making, Dan?
Another great question asked by David. Of course, it's not a large enough sample size. Never mind the sampling bias. Let's point something out here. People want to see this software making mistakes. People are stress testing this software, showing where it's failing. That makes for interesting content. People don't want to see you using full self-driving beta and not intervening for 25 minutes. Of course, some of these videos are out there. I totally get this. But if you ask any of the creators who are posting these videos, the average watch time and views on these videos versus the software making a mistake, you'll discover that people want to see this thing fuck up. And speaking of fucking up, it's now time to hear Dan O'Coward justify why a sampling of 22 videos on YouTube rather than any use of the actual software himself is more than adequate to draw these incredible conclusions, such as that if this software was being used on all cars on planet Earth, literally millions of people would die every single day. Now, just for the record, this is a quote from the full page ad in the New York Times. Let me read it word for word. If full self-driving, not full self-driving beta, which is the only software that exists at this point in time, of course they don't mention that it's beta software, we've covered this. If full self-driving was fully self-driving every car, millions would die every day. let's do some quick math here. Let's see if this claim makes any sense. So the claim there, millions would die every day. Let's be conservative. Millions is obviously plural, so it needs to be at least 2 million. We'll be ultra conservative and assume it's just 2 million people dying every single day. So let's see how many people would end up dead in a single calendar year as a result of this software, according to these genius calculations based on 22 YouTube videos and absolutely no conflict of interest whatsoever. So we just multiply that number, 2 million by 365, average days in a year. We end up with, that's all. 730 million people dying every year. It's a mere 750 million people. Let's see, in the span of a decade, how many people end up dead? 7.3 billion people dead. Wait, hang on a minute. That number's kind of sounding close to the entire population of planet Earth at this point in time. Let's wind it back. You know what? Let's go back to our annual deaths at an absolute baseline, 730 million. What about 15 years? 10.9 billion, basically 11 billion people dead. Hang on a minute. Can somebody please remind me what's the population of Earth? I see. According to the internet, which we can definitely trust for everything, the global population as of January 2022, which happens to be when we're recording this, is 7.9 billion people. So it would take just over 1 decade for Tesla's software to kill every single human being on the planet, if only their full self-driving beta software was widely deployed as it stands today, according to the calculations of Einstein here. Seems legit, right? And now on to the absolute best part of the entire interview. This is delicious. Make sure you stick around and watch this in its entirety. I have never seen somebody self-immolate so effectively on television. I mean, honestly, I've got to give this guy credit. This is an absolute train wreck happening in slow motion. It's just beautiful.
It's a substantial portion. We're doing more. We did that many, and we looked at it and said there's just no question as to the situation. We looked at more. We sampled other ones randomly and said this is fine. We're going to do more. We're going to do more videos that took time to analyze. We looked through every single one. We've annotated. There's a spreadsheet that annotates every failure, every time it turns from the wrong lane, runs through a stop sign, each event that it does. Each of those. Those are something that if you did that on a driving test in California, they wouldn't give you a license. And it happens every 8 minutes. You got a 20-minute test under California. Couldn't get a driver's license. It makes so many mistakes.
That is an all-time own goal. You hear the reasoning there? This vehicle wouldn't even pass a driving test in California. It makes 1 mistake every 8 minutes. The driving test is 20 minutes long. It would make at least 2 mistakes in a single driving test, maybe even 3 mistakes. So what you're saying, Dan, is this software is actually getting close to being able to pass a driving test. Given that the rate of interventions on this software are declining over time, if we look into the future, it seems evident that at some point in the near term, 8 minutes before a mistake will soon become 9, 10, 12, 15, 20, 30, 42, 69, and suddenly Tesla's full self-driving software would be capable of passing a driver's test, therefore would be approximately equivalent in terms of capabilities to a learner driver, who we allow on roads, who don't at this point in time kill 730 million human beings every single year. And if you thought the self-ownage was over, oh no folks, it goes to a whole new level. Enjoy the show.
This conversation entered the Twitter sphere, if you will. I know you tweeted about it, and then Elon Musk has had some responses too. Someone else tweeted that it's so weird that the most vocal critics of full self-driving always have a huge financial interest in a competing solution, and Musk responded to that indeed. Do you have a huge financial interest in a competing solution? Is that part of the reason that you even started looking at this technology and are so critical of it?
Now, before we watch this Weasel implode on air, make sure you've seen my video 2 days ago exposing the conflicts of interest here. In short, this guy has partnerships with effectively every legacy automotive manufacturer and a company working on their own autonomous software. Should Tesla eat the lunch of any legacy automotive manufacturer and steal some of their vehicle sales? Should Tesla be successful in developing their own autonomous software, the best in the world? Dan O'Coward, CEO of Green Hills Software, currently employing close to 1,000 people at last I heard, stands to lose substantial revenue as these customers decline in overall volumes and his software and other features and services are deployed in less and less vehicles. This to me appears to be a staggering conflict of interest, a major financial incentive. One almost gets the feeling that Dan O'Coward has set up this Dawn Project company and is trying to scare people away from Tesla's software and the company in general because he's concerned about his company suffering declining revenue as a result of Tesla eating his customers' lunch. There appears to be an extremely clear financial incentive. Now, watch as this douche lord attempts to say no and then attempts to say yes and then says yes. There is a financial incentive. There is a bit of a conflict of interest. This is absolutely miraculous.
Do you have a huge financial interest in a competing solution? Is that part of the reason that you even started looking at this technology and are so critical of it?
Well, no. I mean, a financial interest in a way. I have no, as you guys say, I have no financial interest in Tesla. I have no short positions, puts, anything like that. My entire financial interest in Tesla is I own 3 of them. I own 3 Teslas. I own 2 Roadsters and a Model S. That there's no financial interest. If people say, financial interest, can you say I'm a competitor? I help BMW. I help Daimler, all the big companies, GM. We supply software for those people to do it, and that gives it information. But actually, I say, who better to find out the problems in your product than the competitor? They look at things, they analyze their competitors' products, they try to figure things out. They tell you the things the salesman doesn't want you to know. I don't see why, if you say this person's a competitor, you shouldn't listen to them. That's just giving the salesman, his dream. No one will ever hear about anything negative about the product. Yeah. So I think it's completely wrong-headed just even to say that. Yeah, sure, we're a competitor in a moderate way. I don't make cars. I don't make self-driving software. I make software that people who make self-driving software use to do their job.
Absolutely incredible, embarrassing, shameful, humiliating, and hilarious all at the same time. Now, I could spend 2 hours, probably 2 days picking this apart, but let's try 2 minutes. Let's recap exactly what happened there. By the way, if you guys have the time, seriously recommend rewinding a little bit. Watch that whole thing play out again. It's just incredible. The amount of tells, the mental gymnastics, the contradictions, it is stunning. Dan O'Coward is asked point blank, do you have a huge financial interest in a competing solution? Is that part of the reason as to why you are critical of this technology? By the way, again, 0 collisions so far, yet the guy says it's going to kill millions of people, would wipe out the entire global population in less than 15 years, said it should be removed from roads, blah, blah, blah. In my opinion, extremely biased, extremely unreasonable, extremely unrealistic accusations leveled at this software, very deceptive, not done from his company Green Hill Software, but through this Dawn project that supposedly cares about security and safety. Definitely no possible conflict of interest whatsoever, right? Dan's response begins with him stuttering and stammering through 10 different filler words, before actually starting to respond. And then says, well, no, as in, no, I don't have a financial interest, but then immediately clarifies, realizing it's probably not a good idea to lie on television, says, well, no, I mean a financial interest. And then admits I do by saying a financial interest in a way, as in, yes, I do have a financial interest in a competing solution. He then deflects after admitting that he has a financial interest in a competing solution by saying, well, I don't have a position in Tesla stock, I'm not short, I don't have puts, implying that he's not trashing the company to make money betting against the stock, even though the conversation is about his software company that's servicing practically every legacy automotive manufacturer on the planet. And then, to further deflect, he tries to signal that he's completely unbiased because his interest is the fact that he owns some Tesla vehicles. Oh, I own some products. I can't be biased. I mean, I own their products. I own Teslas. And f*** you. I'm getting away with it. And then, please, fact check me. Rewind the video and watch exactly how this plays out. He repeats, there's no financial interest. After already admitting that there is a financial interest, again, rewind the video, it's all there. And then he admits that he is a competitor and clarifies rather helpfully by saying that he helps practically every automotive manufacturer on the earth, at least other than Tesla, aka Tesla's competition. And then he deflects again by suggesting, Who better than to find the issues with your products than a competitor, painting himself almost as unbiased because he's not the company, he's a competitor. This allows him to see things as they are instead of being deluded, living in la la land. And then, contradicting himself once again, he does a backflip and almost makes an accusation, saying, I think it's completely wrong-headed just to even say that, as in, we have a financial interest. And then, again, immediately contradicts himself by saying, yeah, sure, we're a competitor, and then tries to minimize it by saying, in a moderate way. So, in short, my hypothesis here, again, these are just my own hallucinations, so please do your own research, just my opinion. I might be completely wrong, but my hypothesis here is that Dan O'Coward is currently in scared little bitch mode. After all, he's the guy that should have the beta label on his forehead. Is worried that Tesla's eating his lunch, going to disrupt and ultimately bankrupt most of his existing customers, and after crying in the corner and asking for his daddy to please hold him, decided, you know what, I'm going to take out an ad smearing this company unreasonably, try to tarnish their reputation and do whatever it takes, including being completely dishonest, deceptive, immoral and unethical, to try to slow down the inevitable extinction of my software company. Rather than just trying to outcompete Tesla, because I realize I don't have the capabilities to do that, I'm just going to try and fight dirty. Problem is, this gigantic see you next Tuesday is bitten off far more than he can chew, as I pointed out a couple of days ago in the first video about this very topic, and is now paying the consequences. He's self-immolated live on CNBS, made an absolute embarrassment of himself, contradicted himself 1,000 times, approximately, and has now awakened an army of people who care so much about the well-being of other human beings and understand that over the long term, autonomous software will save millions of lives, prevent tens, hundreds of millions of injuries and permanent disabilities. And in an act of disgraceful cowardice coming from a place of fear, Dan O'Coward has blood on his hands, attempting to scare people away from this life-saving, injury-reducing, disability-reducing technology. Dan O'Coward is a spineless weasel acting from self-interest, and I will continue to criticize accordingly. It's nothing personal, I don't know the guy. However, if his actions can potentially lead to injury, suffering, pain in other human beings, which they surely will, this is where I take issue. So Dan, see you in the next one. And if you guys and girls have enjoyed this video and my unfiltered thoughts, once again, I want to remind you, I can't really say exactly what I think here on YouTube. I'll get in trouble. It is what it is. I have to abide by their policies, otherwise, no more me. But I can share my uncensored thoughts over on Patreon. I've already done over 100 exclusive Q&As. Check out the card in the corner or the link in the pinned comment to join. Everyone also gets access to my up-to-date Tesla stock price targets. You can search through Q&As by tag. I've covered tons of topics, probably thousands of different topics by now. I'll be doing another Q&A very shortly, and I hope to see you over there. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks, and get some free stocks and crypto. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. You can get 2 free stocks with WeBull, a free stock with Stake, free Bitcoin with Coinbase, and free Bitcoin with BlockFi, and the BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards credit card. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. And if you're still watching, you're awesome. I read every single comment on this channel and I really appreciate your feedback. So if you've got any thoughts on today's video, questions, comments, or suggestions for a new video, let me know in the comments below. Check the cards on screen now to browse the merch store, join Patreon, or watch the next video.